Welcome to day 2 of my World Championship deck opening. So I've got all 4 2012 decks. Yesterday I featured the Masters World Championship deck, Raikou Mewtwo Terrakion, and in this one, I believe, yep, I've got it right, I'll be taking a look at the Senior World Championship deck. And this is Chase Maloney's deck, an Eelektric deck, featuring Raikou. So Raikou, honestly, I don't know how it did in Worlds, but I know a few people that ran pretty much this deck at Nationals and did really well, and in the Masters division. So this is not just a deck that ran well in Seniors. I'm going to go over some things that I went over in my last video on just some reasons why you would want to pick up this thing. So the cards in here are not tournament legal, and so most people pretty much look at them and figure, well, why am I going to buy something I can't play with? Sorry about knocking the camera there. And the reason why is that there's lots of other amazing things to this deck. So not only can you get a lot of cool stuff in, which I will show you in a minute, but the cards themselves are useful despite them not being tournament useful. So as a player, I personally like to use these as proxies. And so, you know, cards like Juniper and I don't have to worry about, you know, if I want to have a lot of decks built, you know, I may have 4 or 5 decks built at the same time. I don't need to worry about printing them out from the computer and wasting my ink and making sure they have another card as a backing and cutting them out and trimming them down and all that mess. I can just plop these guys in and we're good to go. For example, here's a card from the other one, a nice little switch. As a collector, these, while they're not tournament legal, you know, so they're not like real set cards, I would consider this a type of promo card. So as a collector, my goal is to collect them all. Let's see, other reasons. As a newer player, you may want to pick these up just to kind of get an idea of what a good deck is and how to play it. So, you know, throw these guys in sleeves, or if you don't like to play with sleeves, usually that's in the junior division, you know, we don't see, always see players playing with sleeves. You know, basically just pick up the decks, go ahead and practice with them. Learn how they work. Even though there's typically a rotation after each World Championship, that doesn't mean that the decks still aren't valuable teaching tools. And that, you know, again, you can't learn something from them. I feel like there are 4 reasons. Collectability of the cards, practicing as a new player, proxying for older players, and I guess that's it, just and collecting the stuff that's inside. So one of the things that I think is really cool that these decks come with, what I do with my deck box. Whoops. Sorry, I dropped my deck box. So one thing they come with are these cool little deck boxes. Now, they're not big enough to fit cards with sleeves, which is a bummer, which is why I don't use them. But they will fit decks that don't have complete sleeves. Oh, and now, I would actually cover this in my last video. The little Pokemon pin with Pikachu holding the Tiki mask, it does look like a Pikachu. So, kind of a rough Pikachu, but it's a Tiki mask, so I know a lot of people just use these little boxes to store like spare cards and things like that, backup cards for a deck, or, you know, they have their purposes and they're still really cool. I will be selling all the any extra cards in the in these things. I'm going to keep one of each card for my collection, but any duplicates I'll be selling or trading away. And same thing with all the rest of the stuff. The deck box, this really cool little Pikachu pin. Like I said in the last video, they're pretty good quality too. They're not just like some little cheap pin. And then we also have, I guess I just call it a collector's book. So it kind of goes through the World Championship tournament, some information, some background information, the countries that participated, the brackets, pictures of the various events, and the cool thing is that they also give deck lists for a lot of the you know, top players. Some fun things about each of the players as well as their deck lists, and it's just kind of cool to see, you know, people from around the world and what they play and how they play things differently. I like to point out, there's one of the senior players that did really well. He's got epic hair. Alright, so let's go ahead and go on to showing the deck. So this is the Senior Champion deck. Let's go ahead and take these guys out of their little plastic, make it a little easier, and we'll start off with the Pokemon. Oops, my Meowth. stick him back up there. One Zekrom. Oh, I hate it when... The bad thing about these decks, though, is that for openings, they mix them all up. Two Smeargle, and Smeargle's Portrait was just amazing, being able to copy your opponent's hand. Four of the Spark Dynamos, and this, until, you know, we had Paralysis Dynamo come out, was my favorite Dynamo. Or not Paralysis come out, but Paralysis become bigger with Fliptini. This was my favorite Dynamo simply because you could set up Pokemon to be one-shot later on. Yeah, like a Zekrom, Terrakion, instead of using a plus power, get a little bit of a spark. Very, very useful. 3 Eelektric, and this is the engine of this deck. Dynamotor attaching cards from your deck. Your discard pile to your bench. Very, very useful. Heavy Mewtwo line with 3 Mewtwo. And where are the Raikou? Hold on. Like I said, they kind of have these all mixed up. And was there only one Raikou? Give me just 1 minute. There's a deck list on the back. Yes, actually, there is only one Raikou. So I thought this was a deck that featured Raikou more heavily, but no, this was truly an Eel 2 deck. One Raikou, one Zekrom, and the rest are just Mewtwo, and that makes sense. Mewtwo Wars are still big now, but were very, very big for the World Tournament, and yeah, if you can keep your Mewtwo loaded up with, you know, 3 Eels on the bench, you've definitely got an advantage over your opponent's Mewtwo. Plays 1 Sky Arrow for that nice free retreat. I believe this is the entire energy stack, so we've got 4 double colorless. I mean, what's Mewtwo without DCE? That pretty much ensures you the donk. 3, 6, 8 lightning energy, powering up those Dynamotors. And here we go with all the trainers and supporters. So, 1 Ultra Ball. It's actually another odd number, only 1. 2 Plus Power. 2 Level Ball. Another weird number. I definitely would have been running 4 for Eelektric as well as Dynamos. 3 Pokemon Catcher. 3 Max Potion. Max Potion being crucial in this deck because you can Max Potion off your cards and not have to worry about how you're going to get your energy back. You know, that's what Eelektric's for. 4 Junk Arm, crucial in every deck before this card was rotated out. And let me finish off with the trainers first. 1 Random Receiver, 1 Super Rod, and the reason why he only ran 1 Ultra Ball and 2 Level Ball is because he runs 3 Dual Ball. He also runs 3 Switch to be able to get those Electric out if out of the active position if they're captured up. And the rest of the deck are nice supporters, draw supporters. We've got 2 Professor Oak's New Theory, 4 Juniper, so he's definitely not afraid to discard stuff, and 4 N. So that is the Senior Champion deck, and stay tuned for tomorrow. I'll be looking at some of the Juniors decks.